December 2020 has come to an end, so it's time for another end of month vlog video. Let's do this. What is up everyone, Movie Worm back again with another end of month vlog. This is going to be all the movies and TV shows that I watched in December 2020. I just want to say thank you very much for everyone who has supported me throughout the year, subscribe to the channel and watch these end of month vlogs as well. Everyone who watches the videos and doesn't comment, it still means everything. Thank you for everyone who's shown me support. Got a lot more plans for the channel next year as well. And I'm going to be starting the new year off with a bit of a bang. So one of the first videos I'm going to do is my top 10 movies of 2020. I'm going to be doing my top 5 worst as well, because I didn't hate too many films this year. And I try and find enjoyment in almost everything I watch. But I'm just going to keep that one to 5 because there weren't too many that I disliked. I'm also going to be doing a top 5 most disappointing. So they might be movies that I was looking forward to but didn't quite meet my expectations. And I'm going to be doing my top 5 most surprising as well. Films that I didn't think much of and then came out the other end really enjoying. So got them videos planned. I'm also going to be doing my top 20 first time watches of the year. Now these aren't going to include 2020 movies, they're all going to be 2019 or below. Films that I've talked about in these videos. And you know, just for the first time I seen that movie this year. So it's going to be a lot of random movies, put it that way. But they're going to be films that I watched for the first time this year. And I'm going to rank them where I thought they should be. So yeah, I've picked 20 out. It was a difficult list to make because I watched 228 films this year and about 10 TV series. So I had to pick from a lot of movies. So let's just get into what I've watched. The first thing that I watched this month, and some of these are on Blu-ray, some of them are streamed, so I'll pick some of them up on Blu-ray and some of them I'll just put a little image up if they're streamed. I do have the iPad in front of me here as well, just to let you know, because there's no way I can remember all these films and TV shows. But the first one I watched was The Ranged. Now, I'm sorry if there's any glare there, but there shouldn't be. This is an Arrow video film, and this is called The Ranged, and this is about, I think it's based on the story of Ed Gein, and it's about this old man who loses his mother at the start, early in the movie, and starts to lose his mind a little bit, and he's into weird things and with women and stuff. I thought it was going to be pretty bad. I mean, some of these Arrow titles don't really hit home sometimes, but it was okay. I thought it was okay. I think I give it 2.5 on Letterboxd, and I noticed straight away that the old man from Home Alone, Old Man Marley, is the star of this film. So he was quite good in the film actually. I forgot his name in the film, to be honest, but it wasn't bad. If you like your horror, your old horror like from the 80s and 70s that is low budget and stuff, you might enjoy this. I think, I forgot the guy's name, Tom Savini. I think he might have directed this. I think he did, but don't quote me on that. He does an introduction to the film and stuff. It wasn't bad. I've had it for a long time now. It's been on my watch list forever. Next up, we watched The Witches. Now, I have done a full unboxing of this edition if you want to look. I'll leave it in the link down below. But I had to get that sour taste out my mouth of the new Witches movie. This is just by far superior. Loved it as a kid, and I still love it now. I remember watching this the other day and just thinking, this is still quite creepy. I mean, the first 10 minutes of this film are really scary for kids, and it was a lot more intense than I remembered it, to be honest, with the woman's eyes lighting up purple while she's stalking her victim through a bedroom window, thinking that's the kid I'm gonna kill and stuff. But Angelica Houston later on in the film is the shining light of this. You can't forget that, you know, big auditorium scene. She takes a face off and stuff. I just love this film to death. It'll always remain one of my favourites of all time. Glad to own it on Blu-ray. It took so long to get out here in the UK. But I just love it to death. I think it's absolutely brilliant. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. You have to. And this is a really nice addition there from HMV. But I just love the film to death. It's fantastic. Next up is a movie I bought last Christmas and we didn't get round to it. So we got round to it this year. And that is Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn. I thought this was going to be pretty bad. I've heard bad reviews about this, but I quite enjoyed it. I didn't think it was too bad at all, to be honest. Vince Vaughn, he's like not a very likable person, and you know he goes to the North Pole to visit his brother Kris Kringle. Yes, his brother is Santa Claus, and his life sort of gets turned around. He hasn't want to know his brother all his life because his brother's always been the blue eye in the family and stuff. But you know, it's got that Christmas spirit and stuff like that. It wasn't bad. I'd watch it again at Christmas. You can pick this up really cheap now. I'd highly recommend it. Not highly recommend it, but it's a decent Christmas film. Next up is a film I watched on Disney Plus, and I don't own this on Blu-ray, but I do plan to get it, and that is Fantasia. And for some reason, my girlfriend, fiance, said, should we just throw the first 10 minutes on so you can see what it's like, because she loves the movie. And I was so mesmerised, I just had to watch the whole thing. Okay, halfway through it did lose its charm a little bit, but it's such a random film. It's just a bunch of short stories that are silent, and they have music. Sorry about that. They have music to go with the movie and stuff. And the best one definitely was The Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's Mickey Mouse who's trying to find shortcuts with his magic and stuff, and it backfires on him. That was the best bit of the whole film. I thought it was brilliant. But in the end, I thought it went on a little bit too long. There's another version called Fantasia 2000, which you haven't checked out yet. That's like half the runtime, so hopefully I'll get to that soon. But Fantasia on Disney Plus wasn't bad, but very, very strange. Very strange. Next up is a movie I watched on Shudder, and that is called Anything for Jackson. This is about an elderly couple who've lost their grandson, and they want to bring him back through the power of Satan, really. They are devil worshippers, and of course things go wrong. All sorts of demons are entering the house and stuff. It was okay. I was pretty dampened by the end of the film because it just abruptly sort of seemed to end without an explanation, and I couldn't figure it out what had just happened. But overall it wasn't bad. There's some really shocking scenes in the movie, especially with this one guy in a lawnmower. It's okay. It's not the best Shudder original I've seen, but it was alright. I do have a full review for this if you want to check it out, which I'll leave down below. Next up, we do have... I was so surprised at this film. I'd seen it before, but I didn't remember it being this good. And that is Jingle All the Way. Arnold Schwarzenegger, everything he touches turns to gold, doesn't it? I just thought this film was hilarious. Basically, he's got to get his kid a Turbo Man. On Christmas Eve, he's left it really late and everywhere is sold out. But I just think it's great. I put it in my top 10 Christmas films of all time. A video I done a few weeks ago. I just love the hectic hustle and bustle of this. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger doing everything he can to get this toy for his kid, and the store owner's just laughing at him when he says, "Have you got this Turbo Man?" And they're just laughing as if to say, "Are you joking?" And he doesn't know if they're being serious or not, and he loses his temper. It's just a fun film, and I really enjoyed it. Next up is another Christmas movie I watched called The Muppets Christmas Carol, another film that got into my top 10 Christmas movies list. This is the first film that I ever went to see at the cinema. Me and my dad went, and he always remembers it as one of his favourite Christmas films. His favourite Christmas moments, taking me as a young kid to watch this movie. And I really enjoyed it. A lot of nostalgia. I hadn't seen it for a long time. You know, the songs that are in it just had all memories flooding back. It's just a fun movie. The Muppets are great. I love Gonzo as Oliver Twist. I just think it's a really fun film, and highly recommended. That was on Disney Plus, so Disney Plus has got a lot of films on, by the way. Next up, we did watch... the reason I watched this is because a lot of YouTubers that I follow on here and subscribe to always put this as their best film of all time, and I hadn't seen it for like 10 years. My friend Andy, who comes on the show, who is coming on the show to talk about this in a few weeks, I'm doing a video solely on this film. I had to watch it again because I hadn't seen it, but that's his favourite film. There's a lot of YouTubers I follow who say it's their favourite film, and that is Jaws. And I can see why. I loved every second of this. Like I said, I hadn't seen it for a long time. I'll just take that J card off there. This is a nice little steelbook edition. I don't own it on 4K, but there's so many talking points with this movie. I mean, it's like a political type film where he's arguing with the mayor not to open the beaches and stuff. Chief Brody arguing with the mayor not to open the beaches and stuff, and he won't listen to him. There's so many memorable moments. I didn't realise how good that quote is, "You're gonna need a bigger boat," until I seen it in the film. It's great. It holds up. I feel like the first half is probably better than the second. The second is them three on the boat, but only marginally. I mean, there's not many things wrong with this movie at all. I'm gonna rewatch it pretty soon, probably just before I do that video with Andy, because I weren't able to stop thinking about this for like a week. Brilliant film. You've all seen Jaws, I'm sure. But that is Jaws. Nearly give that my pick of the month, but something else beat it to it. Next up is a film I have watched so many times, one of my most rewatchable comedies, and that is Wedding Crashers. I love Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn in this. They just bounce off each other. It's basically these two crashing weddings so they can sleep with women. And they just pretend they're like the family's third cousin or something, so no one knows them. But Vince Vaughn in this is hilarious. I think this is part of the reason, after watching Fred Claus, I just wanted to watch this again because of Vince Vaughn. He's great in that film too, but this is probably my favourite Vince Vaughn role. I just think he's hilarious in this movie. It really is so funny. I highly recommend this. I got it years ago on DVD and I wouldn't watch it for ages because it came out on a time where comedies were just coming out over and over again. I just thought it was going to be another generic comedy, but it's definitely one of my favourite, funny films of all time now. I just love it to death. It's hilarious. Just give it a watch, trust me. Next up, we watched The Holiday Movies That Made Us. Now, this is a TV series on Netflix, and it basically only focuses on 2 films, but they are my fiance's two of her favourite films. One of them is Elf, and the other one was A Nightmare Before Christmas. But it goes deep into how they made the film and how the ball got rolling and stuff, and it's quite interesting. They didn't want Will Ferrell to star as the elf. They didn't want him to star in anything, but the writer persisted on putting him in there, and it shows Jon Favreau how he made the film and stuff. It was really interesting. It wasn't anything amazing or anything. And then we went on to the Nightmare Before Christmas one, where Tim Burton, it's called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, mainly because, okay, he come up with the idea and stuff, but a lot of other people put a lot of input into that film. He didn't direct it either, and they basically put it on there because of the success of the Batman film. But he did have a hand in it, I'll admit. But to call it Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, I don't know about that one, but that's a debate for another video. But I did enjoy both of these episodes, so that was a quick TV series to watch, really. Next up is another movie we watched on Disney Plus called The Santa Claus, and I've seen this plenty of times. We were looking for a Christmas film to watch, and I just seen it on Disney Plus and went, we would just watch this one again with Tim Allen, and it is what it is. I mean, he takes over as Father Christmas after accidentally knocking him off his roof and becomes Santa Claus, and he's in so much denial that he is this Santa Claus character, but over time he starts turning into him. Like, he'll get a shave and it'll grow back straight away. Then his personality starts to drift over and he just starts to accept that he is Santa Claus, and it's a fun movie. It's a little bit dated, but I still enjoyed it. Like, watching it again this year, it wasn't bad. I was going to check out 2 and 3, but Christmas had come and gone, and I don't really watch Christmas movies after Christmas, so kind of feels weird talking about them now as well, because Christmas has gone, but there you go. Next up is Wonder Woman 84. I went to cinema to see this with my fiance. I have put a full review on this down below if you want to check it out, but I was pretty underwhelmed. I loved the first one. I thought it was great. This one, it went on way too long for the start. It has a lot of problems. I enjoyed it, but I was also bored at long periods in this film. But overall, I did enjoy it. It just had a lot of problems. And yeah, if you want to check out my full thoughts on this, just click the review down below. That was Wonder Woman 84. Next up is going to be pretty strange watches for me. But I'll admit to you right now, I was hungover on this Sunday and I was just lying on the couch. I couldn't be bothered putting so much interest into a movie, I couldn't be bothered playing my PlayStation. I just had no energy whatsoever. So I just seen this, someone was talking about this crime documentary on Amazon Prime, and I seen it, and I just went, you know what, I'm going to watch it, because I do like my true crime, and I'll just lie back and watch this. And this was called Parkland Inside Building 12. Inside Building 12. And this focuses on, I think it was a shooter. A guy goes into a school. I don't know if it was in Florida. I can't quite remember now. But it was in 2017 or 2018. This guy went into a school and just basically shot everyone. And it talks to the victims and how they dealt with the situation, and it was quite terrifying. You know, you think horror movies are scary, but this, to me, is the scariest thing out there, because this is real life. If you were in this situation, nothing is more terrifying to me than that. You know, stuck in a corner while some psycho is shooting a school up. So, yeah. And then, after that, it said, watch this one next. And I just did, because I did quite enjoy this in a weird... I don't mean enjoy it, but I found it interesting. So the next one I watched was another one by the same director, and this was called 77 Minutes. And it was the same type of thing. In 1984, this guy went into a McDonald's and just shot everyone. And I think he shot like 40 people and 21 died. And it was hard to watch. This was really, really difficult. And one thing that didn't sit right with me was the director, because he won't name the shooter in this film. Doesn't want to give him any attention or whatsoever. He does touch on him here and there, but he says, I'm not going to name this shooter because I just think it's disrespectful to the victims. It does focus more on the victims, but at one point this cop says, I wish I hadn't seen the crime scene video just after it happened, because someone walks in with a camera and films everything. Then the director shows you that video, the whole thing. So for him to say, I want to respect the victims and stuff, and then shows you the video, just totally contradicted himself, I thought. So it was a hard bit of the film to watch. It really was. But it does ask questions why the police didn't intervene and stuff. It's not a nice thing to see, but it's kind of interesting to see the real world sometimes and what goes through people's minds. And then I watched one more, and that was another one that says watch this one next, and this was called 49 Pulses, and this focused on the shooter in Orlando going into the nightclub and shooting everyone. And it was the same sort of thing. You hear the shooter on the radio to the police on this one saying like, I'm doing this for Aluak, forgotten, but a Muslim soldier or an Islamic soldier or whatever you want to call it. He's doing it in the name of religion, really, or the religion that he believes in. But you hear him on the phone, you know, saying why he's doing it and stuff. The real phone call. So it was another one, hard to watch, but you do hear it more from the victim's point of view in all three of these films. But I don't know why I watched them. I just watched the first one and I was just interested to see the next ones. But yeah, 3 documentaries there on true crime. They're on Amazon Prime if you want to see them. And next up, sticking with the true crime, this is kind of different, but I sort of wanted to watch something else but in a different vein, because I was just like, it's a bit morbid that. And I watched the one about this bank robber. And this is actually on YouTube, and I'll leave the actual video down below, and you can subscribe to this channel if you want. It's called the FBI Files, and they focus on this bank robber in the 90s called Hollywood, and he just robs like 15 banks before they even know who he is. And this was, I wouldn't say light-hearted, because he doesn't really hurt anyone in this. He just wants the money and gets away. But I found it really interesting. The narrator of this program was the best narrator ever. He was just like born to do this. But I'll leave the channel down below. If you want to check it out, I'll leave that actual video down below. And it's worth a watch if you like your true crime or whatever. There's absolute hours on that channel to watch. He's got all different types of videos. I think they might have been at a TV show in America, these episodes. I don't know, but it was interesting, and it's just crazy how someone can rob that many banks without getting caught. But there you go. Next up is Elf, another Christmas film. And we watch this every year. This is my fiance's favourite Christmas movie, and it never gets old to me. I love Will Ferrell in this movie. He just makes it, kind of like Jim Carrey in The Grinch, just makes the film. He is the most important cog and the most important centerpiece of the movie. I love it. It's a great film. I'm sure you've all seen Elf. He's basically taken away from the North Pole and has to go and find his dad in New York. And he's the happiest person in the world, but his dad is the most miserable. So it's funny to see the chemistry bounce off each one of them. But yeah, that is Elf. Next up is going to be my pick of the month. And that is It's a Wonderful Life. One of the best movies ever made. Simple as. There's a very few films I'd give a 10 out of 10 to, but this is one of them. I just love George Bailey in this movie. He's just one of the most likeable characters ever. I love watching him. Like, even though he can't get out of this neighborhood where he lives, or this town, he still has it in him to help everyone, because he puts everyone else first and not himself. The last 20 minutes is amazing. It just is. I just was smiling from ear to ear. It's the second time I've ever watched this, but my God, it's just a masterpiece. It really is. And I put my friend Jamie and his wife Dion on this, and she didn't like black and white movies, but they watched it and both loved it, and that just goes to show you how powerful and great this film is. I wasn't expecting them to like this at all, because I did deep down, but when she said, oh, I just don't like black and white movies, and my friend Jamie, I don't think he really goes into films this deep, this old and stuff, but they both loved it. So that just tells you everything, doesn't it? My fiance was crying her eyes out. I can't say much more on it. It's just perfect. There's nothing wrong with this movie at all, in my opinion. Next up is a movie on Disney Plus that came on Christmas Day, and that is Soul. Disney Pixar's new film, Soul. And I thought it was great. I did. I thought it was the best animated movie of the year. And I do have a full review for this. If you want to check it out, I'll leave it down below. But definitely worth checking out. Released at a great time of the year. It's not a Christmas film, but it's a feel-good movie, and definitely one for all the family and of all ages. I mean, if you're a kid, an adult, you'll appreciate the film. Might not be for everyone, but it's definitely aimed towards all ages. Next up is a movie I got for Christmas, actually, because I've been wanting to see this for quite a while, and that is Salem's Lot, a Stephen King adaptation from the 70s, I believe. David Soul in this. First time I've ever seen him in a movie, I think. I was quite shocked when I looked at the runtime and it said over 3 hours, and I was like, oh. But you didn't really feel it at all, to be honest. I mean, the last 20 minutes did drag a little bit, but it's full of interesting characters. There's some really creepy moments, especially with the vampire knocking on the window and stuff. Yeah, it is. I think this would have really scared me as a kid if I watched this when I was younger. But there was still some creepy moments in this, and there's like 5 jump scares throughout the film, and every single one of them got me. I weren't expecting them at all. And there's movies that are made now that just can't replicate that at all. But the jump scares in this were perfect. I enjoyed it. I did. Gonna have to give it another watch and I'll review it on the channel one day. But I'm not sure I'm that clued up on this movie just yet, and it does require a rewatch to fully appreciate it, I think. But I enjoyed it. Love a good Stephen King adaptation. Now, next up is from this box set. Now, I do have a Blu-ray and 4K update coming soon, so I will show this in more detail, but I did watch one movie out this I Know What You Did Last Summer box set. And no prizes for guessing where I started. And that is I Know What You Did Last Summer. I remember watching this in the 90s and being a bit underwhelmed. I didn't think it was as great as Scream and stuff. And they put on the cover from the creator of Scream and all that. But I enjoyed it a lot more this time. I thought, I appreciated it a lot more. The first 2 acts are really, really good. First act does fall flat a little bit. Sarah Michelle Gellar's great in this. I mean, this is probably my favourite role of hers. There's so many likeable characters in here. Like, 3 out of 4 characters are really likeable and you get behind them. Even though one of them's a douchebag, he's still got personality. But sorry about that. I enjoyed it. We're looking forward to checking the next 2 out. I've heard the third one is quite terrible. I did watch I Still Know What You Did Last Summer years ago, but I just don't quite remember it. I think I might have watched half the movie or whatever. Now, I do plan on reviewing this and the other two in a horror revisited episode, and sorry, 3 different horror revisited episodes, and then maybe ranking them. I do plan on doing that. I've been working on my review for this, so look out for that. But next month I'll probably be talking about the next 2 films, because that is the last thing I watched this month. And yeah, I'm recording this on New Year's Eve, but I know I'm not going to watch a film tonight because me and fiance are going to have a few drinks in the house. So yeah, there you go. That is my last end of month vlog of 2020. Thank you so much, everyone, for, you know, being involved in this channel, watching these end of month vlog videos. I love doing YouTube. I love interacting with you all. It's coming up to my 1 year anniversary soon as well, so I might do a little video for that, maybe like a Q&A or something. I don't know how you guys would feel about that, but what I'll do, I might do a video and say, like, ask me anything you want. It doesn't have to be movie related, and if I heart the comment, I will answer it in the next video. So let me know if that's something you guys would like to do. I just interact a little bit more with you and stuff, and give something back. But let me know. Look out for them top 10 movies of 2020. Blu-ray and 4K update coming soon as well. Just waiting on a few to come in the post. And I do have a few collaborations coming up as well with a few YouTubers and a few of my friends off Twitter. They'll be coming this month. So lots of plans. Hopefully we get a lot of new movies soon, and this pandemic can be over. But there you go. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. And if you want to watch any of these other end of month vlogs, they'll be down below as well. Take it all easy, guys. I'll see you all next video.